Meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, Stillwater Building in Northfield, and the county clerk and offices in Mays Landing. Prior to our opening prayer, I would like to ask that we have a moment of silence honoring the late Honorable James Carney, former Atlantic County Surrogate Judge, Atlantic County Freeholder, Egg Harbor Township Councilman, to name just a few of the public service positions he held. In addition, I'd also ask that we honor the late Bruce Crow, Mayor of Mullica, who also recently passed. Let us keep their families and friends in our thoughts and prayers. We have a moment of silence.
If I may add to that, I want to certainly, in memory of Dr. Juanita Hyde, who has been a big fighter and community supporter, Stockton University, City of Atlantic City, etc. Atlantic City and Atlantic County has certainly lost a trailblazer, and we want to keep the family in our prayers.
Have one moment. We'll have the opening prayer, please.
Lord God, we ask for your blessing on this meeting and all those assembled here. May our actions be righteous and kind, and may we always be mindful of our obligations to each other and to you. Amen.
Amen. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Chairwoman, Commissioner Dees is attending virtually, but will be a few minutes late.
Thank you.
Ballas,
Present.
Bertino,
Here.
Burns,
Here.
Corsi, Gatto,
Here.
Parker,
Present.
Risley,
Here.
Kern.
Here. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from January 16th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the January 16th, 2024 minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto and seconded by Commissioner Ballas. We'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Gatto, Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, just a little note, anyone attending in person who would like to speak regarding any item on the agenda or a public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town where you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. That's to enable so anybody, other people can speak. If you're attending virtually and would like to speak, please raise your hand during the agenda item or a public comment at the end. I'll call upon your name, and at a request to unmute, you will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes again to speak. Okay, I will now take a motion to move Resolution 58 to the top of the agenda. Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public at this time? Okay, we'll call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Gatto, Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. We now have Resolution 58 to read, please.
Atlantic County Board of Commissioners Resolution in remembrance of James Jim Carney. Whereas born in Queens, New York, the Honorable Jim Carney grew up in Atlantic County and was a resident of Egg Harbor Township. And whereas Jim Carney was a proud graduate of Holy Spirit High School, Beckley College in West Virginia, and Stockton University of New Jersey. And whereas Jim Carney's impressive professional career included many roles benefiting numerous organizations, including governmental and philanthropic institutions. And whereas Jim Carney professionally served as president of the Collection Bureau of South Jersey, constable for over 50 years, Atlantic County Surrogate Judge, Commissioner of the New Jersey Supreme Court Surrogates Liaison Committee, Processor for the Atlantic County Courts, Atlantic County Freeholder, Egg Harbor Township Committeeman, and Commissioner of the Casino Revenue Fund Advisory Commission. And whereas dedicated to making a difference and giving back to his community, Jim Carney devoted many years of service to Our Lady of Sorrows Church, the Knights of Columbus, 4th Degree Knight, the New Jersey Jaycees, and the Atlantic City Lions Club. And whereas, as a visionary and philanthropist, Jim Carney created www.timetomakeawill.com, a convenient and free public service assisting many residents. And whereas all of Jim Carney's accomplishments, his family was his greatest, as nothing gave him more pleasure than spending time with them and watching his grandsons play sports. And whereas Jim Carney leaves behind his loving wife of almost 54 years, Jackie, their 3 grown children, Dr. Michelle Carney, Ray Yoder, and Chris, Adam Carney and Allison, and Ryan Carney, and 4 cherished grandsons. And whereas the Carney family in the County of Atlantic has experienced a great loss with the passing of Jim Carney, who will be remembered by his family and friends as a kind, selfless man who was always helping others. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Atlantic that this board does hereby convey its deepest sympathy on the passing of Jim Carney and joins with others in remembrance of a dedicated public servant.
May I have a motion?
Moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from our commissioners?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Certainly, I would like to comment about my friend Jim Carney. I served with him on this governing body and proud to serve with him. He was always the ultimate gentleman. And we had a lot of great discussions. He was the veteran on the board. I was the newbie coming onto the board. And he enlightened a lot of things for me. And we had a great relationship over our entire time. So I certainly regret his passing. And however, he has a great legacy to leave behind. We're all going to miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from our commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. We do have a plaque for the family if you'd like to come up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Very well.
And my dad loved working with all of you, so thank you so much.
You're very well. Great man.
And I'd like to say something, but I couldn't get through it.
Totally understand.
Is it okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate you.
Okay, at this time, we have a presentation, the New Jersey Coastal Coalition, Inc. Emergency Alert App by Tom Quirk, NJCC Executive Director.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Quirk. I have the privilege of being the Executive Director. Usually they can hear me anyway. They can open the windows and still hear me. I have the privilege of being the Executive Director of New Jersey Coastal Coalition, and I have the honor of speaking before you today. I want to thank the board for allowing me to speak and make our presentation. The board and the county are charter members of the Coastal Coalition, which is a 501c3 organization that was formed in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy to work on flood mitigation. That is our only job. We work on flooding 365 days a year. We partner, as people can see. I brought some newspapers today to show you that flooding just doesn't occur when the storm's coming up the coast. Here we have a beautiful day today. It's in the 40s, the sun's out. You can't ask for a better day in Atlantic County for February than today, but here we are talking about flooding. And the reason we're talking about flooding is because Mother Nature never gives up. You never beat Mother Nature. She's always going to beat you every time she wants to. We have, as a group, a fix and forget mentality. And it has nothing to do with political party or gender or anything. It's just the way we are as human beings. And I've circulated some newspapers that I've collected over the years. First newspaper's from August of 1933, and it talks about the devastation on the Atlantic City Boardwalk, all destroyed, probably Ventnor as well. I'm sure they fixed it, and they did whatever. And then the next newspaper's the Great Atlantic Hurricane from September 1944. And no matter what my dear friend Frank Formica will tell you, I was not around for the storm of 1944, but I heard about it when I was a child, as some of you had, and how devastating it was. The boardwalk was all destroyed. Margate never rebuilt theirs, Longport never rebuilt theirs, Ventnor and Atlantic City did. I'm sure they said fix and forget again. And then in 1962, I was around for that one. That's the March storm of 1962, utter devastation. The boardwalks are destroyed again, so they fixed them. And then the last one is Sandy, and a lot of storms in between. We have to protect ourselves from a danger that we know is going to occur. And the reason I'm here today is to speak about a presentation of the Emergency Weather App. The Emergency Weather App is funded by FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. They've given us grants totaling $600,000 over the last 4 or 5 years to develop this app. This app works. It can be set up in a municipality in an afternoon, and it can be interactive where you can send information out instantaneously, telling people in their town what's going on in their town. We all know when the storms happen, the Weather Channel's telling you this is happening in Florida, this is happening in Texas, this is happening in Philadelphia. Personally, I want to know what's happening right around the corner from me. This app will tell you what streets are flooding, where the evacuation routes are, what the tides are, where you should park your car. Here's a little bit of information. During Sandy, there were 49,500 claims for cars destroyed. You'll find out, long time, I see my dear friend Jerry Del Rosso there. We've been around longer than we'd like to admit, Jerry. We know, because we've lived on Absecon Island our whole lives, where to park your car and where not to park your car. But everybody in this room knows that there's a turnover ratio in Atlantic County of roughly 10 to 15%. So the people that are leaving take that institutional information out the door with them. The new folks don't know. They don't know where to park their car. They don't know how to get off the island. They don't know which causeways to go on and which causeways not to go on. And with increasing flooding that's happening, if you turn on your TV set right now, you'll see California had a devastating flooding. Flooding's not going to go away. With this app, we need communities in Atlantic County to sign up for this app. Most of the municipalities in Atlantic County are members of the coalition, and we're lucky to have them. The foundation of the coalition is the brains and hard work of the member communities. It has little to do with what I do. It's their brain power and their solutions and their common sense ideas that we in Atlantic County will prosper by. This is a free app. It doesn't cost the municipality a penny, but it has to be used by each municipality, and we have to get people to sign up. If we get this app, if a municipality gets this app and doesn't use it, it's like having a brand new Porsche in your garage and you never turn the key. So I'm going to have the creator of the app, Weston Solutions, and John Gee make the presentation, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you. John?
I want to thank everybody for their time today. I've given this presentation to lots of groups and lots of people, and I'm always available to answer any questions after the meeting or to present a demonstration of the app for you. So what I'm going to try to do now is just share my screen. So I have a brief slide presentation that I'm going to present the app, and the agenda is basically I'm going to go through the sign up of the ad, and then also find the right file. Hold on 1 second. So many of these, I can't find it anymore. I'll find it this way. I apologize. Hold on 1
Yep,
second.
fine.
Okay. Send it over and didn't highlight it, so apologize for that. Make sure I have the right version.
Well done, Matt.
So it's coming up now. I'll share my screen. Okay. Everybody see that? It's gonna take a little bit. Okay. So like I said, we're going to do the sign up. I'll show you the sign up. I'll show you the go through the benefits of the act, why it's different than everything else out there. Mostly, I think most communities are already using some type of emergency system. It varies quite a bit by community. They're like people. Each community does something different. We can link into that. We're in the process now of linking into Atlantic City's emergency system. Their system is basically to organize their employees for an emergency. There's no alert system in Atlantic City right now. And like I said, if you need a demonstration, we can certainly set it up at a later date. I don't think we have enough time to go through each one. So the QR code I'm going to show next. Hopefully that'll show up. There's also handouts at the table there that contains the QR code. It's for the sign up of each individual town. So we're putting this in the hands of the local community. And the specific reason is because you've all heard the news about Florida and the alerts off the Gulf Coast. I was waiting for the mayor.
What's the news of,
Yeah.
I don't know what the news is.
Yeah, okay. Well, they were confused about when to evacuate. This is very common. It happened in Houston. Who do they believe? Do they believe the governor? Do they believe the local officials? The OEM coordinator? The news? Nobody knows what to do. So that's not a good thing. So we're putting this in the hands of each community to use. And it's also useful for things other than flooding. It's ubiquitous, meaning you can announce a car accident on Main Street, and it's locational, meaning it's done through ArcGIS. So every alert is also archived. The sign-up sheet, which I'm going to go to right now, as soon as it comes up on the web here. There's a different version on the app for phones, and a different version for desktop. It looks completely different. Why this isn't coming up now? One second. Yeah. One second. I'm having my own issues. Get back to it again. Here we are. Sorry. It just basically looks like this. There's a public sign-up sheet for every community. This is the one that looks, that's for a computer. It's very different. You can sign up for all these communities. You can sign up for one. It's the same sign up as you sign up for anything. Name, phone number. Click that you agree to terms and conditions, submit, and then you get a verification code. Actually, you just verify that you signed up. There's no codes on this currently. So that's the public sign up. So, so the benefits, you know, why use this and nothing else? Of course, Tom mentioned it's no cost. That's a pretty easy one. And there will be no cost, because what FEMA wants is they want community outreach. This provides community outreach. You can send out alerts that are informational. What to do, how to fill a sandbag, where to get the sand, where to get the bags. You can send out alerts on the emergency routes currently blocked due to construction. You can do lots of things with this app that you can't do with commercial system. And the other thing that, you know, Tom mentioned, is, you know, paid for by FEMA. So FEMA has access to all the information that goes out. So one of the things that they wanted here was that people wanted to know what was happening in the community, because as they put it, they would fly their guy in, he'd land on the ground, he wouldn't even know where to go or who to talk to. It took him weeks to get help to people. You know, they've got complaints about that. I've been in these communities that have been hit by hurricanes. There's no wires, there's no people, there's dead cattle, depending if you're on the, you know, on a farm area. Water everywhere. Emergency services are doing the best they can. It's just dangerous walking around. You have live wires down, they're on the ground, they're live. So what do? Our company does FEMA emergency alert services. Our people live in tents for weeks to provide the necessary information to FEMA so they can target the people that need it. With this app, they'll have it because it's real time. The other thing, you can earn CRS points. So by communicating alerts to your community members, you can earn CRS points, which will lower the community's insurance rates. And then they've also expressly told us that the information we put in can be used to get funding from FEMA for problem areas in the town that flood frequently. And they said you need about 3 years of information to do that. Like I mentioned, it's a fast, reliable service. It's state of the art. So if you put in an alert now, you would get a text virtually 5 seconds after I hit the button. And I can demonstrate that for you. We just don't have the time right now to go through all the full demonstration. I'm not going to take your time up with that. But like I said before, we're integrating with an existing system now. It's fully compliant with TCPI. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you know, you get these messages where you have to actually subscribe or unsubscribe and physically agree to receive the texts in order to get them. And we provide training as well for using the system, and we have provided training to many communities already. So just run down real quick what's in the alert. You have when the community has to input an alert, it's the time and date of the alert is automatically displayed in local time, obviously. You can add photographs of the alert scene. You can put in a description and directions to the public. Avoid this area, go around this area, whatever you'd like to do in order to help the situation. There's also information on the public community page of NOAA radar, something people probably just separately look at. Now, there's a live map of Homeland Security, prepared by Homeland Security, of the evacuation routes and the condition of the routes. So if they're blocked, it'll go red. If it's open for traffic, it'll be green. Tom mentioned safe parking areas. So each community puts in a safe parking area. And that's all location, is shown on the public page. We have a map of flood-prone areas. And that's because we don't want people driving into flood-prone areas during a flood. And the most popular thing was maps of the evacuation route. And the reason why they're popular is because people like to look and see whether they're going to get to work on time. And we get the most views on the webcams probably for that on a daily basis. But they are very useful. So what I want to do real quick is just show you what the Atlantic City alert page looks like. So if you were getting an alert, you would get a text message or an email message with a link to this page if Atlantic City sent it out. It would come up here, and there would be a location shown right in the town in red. And that location would have a pop-up explaining all those details that we talked about. And then you scroll down, and you'd have NOAA radar, live radar. There's the flood-prone area map. There's the parking area map for Atlantic City. As Tom mentioned, this is I'll call it institutional knowledge of where to park your car. And the reason why that's really important is because it doesn't have to be a catastrophic flood to have millions of dollars worth of loss just from cars. These days when cars are flooded, it only takes a few inches of water to get in the door and they're done. They don't rehab cars from flooding. They're total. There's the evacuation routes. You can see they're all in green right now. And we have a complete mapping system at the end where you can combine all of the above screens in one map. The advantage of this, of course, is that if you view it on your phone or on a system that knows where you are located, you can see where you're located versus everything else that's going on around you. So that's the public page. The page that Atlantic City or each community would use is password protected. I'm going to get this one. There you go. So it's password protected. We don't want somebody gaming the alert system, that's for sure. So this is the input system, and what you would simply do here, it's really quite easy, is you select here and you draw an area. I'd say that's where the flood is. You'd put this time as automatic. You put the alert type in, flooding or other. Description, like I said, directions to the public, who put the alert in or what was the source of the information, name of the person entering the alert. You can input photographs of the alert scene, and then there's terms and conditions which are consistent with TCPI so that we pass everything down in layman's terms on what you're not allowed to submit as an alert. That's important because the phone companies control your access to sending out these alerts. And you print, yes, I'm going to do it, and you hit submit. Next thing that happens, you get a text. And that text has a link to the public site that I just showed.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure.
So just so I'm clear, the problem that we're trying to solve by using the app is flood notification. Strictly.
Right. Timely fund. Well, that's what FEMA's paying for.
Okay, that's what FEMA's paying for. When you say you can do X, Y, Z, that means somebody on our staff has to maintain the alert system, like FEMA or your organization isn't inputting data for us. We have to do it?
I just showed you what you input for an alert.
Right, but we do that, not you guys.
The local community has the keys to the car. They have the password to do that. We provide it to the OEM coordinator, and then from there it's their It's their responsibility.
No, that's not a homeowner, that is like an OEM.
Governmental.
That's a governmental
You're asking it on
Okay,
the,
Tom?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
the letter on that.
You have to sign up for the message, right, but I wanna know who's doing the work.
If I may,
Let me finish my question.
yes, ma'am.
So who's doing the work is, let's say, county government, municipal government, whoever they designate as the resource to maintain the inputs to the alert system for that community. That's correct?
Want to make sure you're done with your question.
Oh, I
before
got
you
more,
speak.
but is
Yeah,
that
the
a yes
first,
or
the
no?
first thing, here's what I envision. I envision that each municipality will decide how to best use their resources. In one town, I'm just making this up hypothetically, in one town it might be the police department, in another town it might be OEM,
Right.
in another town it might be IT. What we intend is to have me, because I do have some governmental experience, to go and work with each community and say, how is it best for you and your community to get the information? I don't want to tell them, I want them to tell me.
But they need a body with capacity to do it, is my point.
Yeah, I
Okay.
envision that it would take 2 to 3 hours to do this.
Okay. Jer, are we considering this for Atlantic County? Are we?
Oh,
like-
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
And would we then tie it in with our Ready Atlantic and all of our notification systems and
Yeah.
everything that we have
Yes, it
already?
would be used by OEM for the most part, yeah, correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we would, because we have an emergency notification system already.
Right.
We do coastal flood advisories, we do the blue,
Just finish up.
the code blue, we do, a number.
And we'll do the code red when that comes out.
Code red, exact, right, so this would in theory tie into our emergency alert.
Any way you want to use it.
Okay. And has administration decided, Jer? Like,
We sit on the committee.
okay,
Yes,
so
correct, yeah.
what you're asking us to do right now is not necessarily have the county use it, but help get the word out to the municipalities to use it?
because-
Okay, that's the problem we're trying to solve, okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's best, we need as many people as possible. We have 39 municipalities in the Coastal Coalition. We're in 6 different counties. What I'm going to do is go around to each county government and say, because the greatest reach, rather than me to go to each municipality and do it one at a time, it's a little bit easier to come to county government and say, number one, do we have your support? Number two, do you have questions? You're asking questions right now that need to be answered. And if I can't answer your question, I'm never going to be able to answer them
Yeah.
on a personal basis. But what we want is first to get the support, if it's possible, of the county government, and then go around to the municipalities. I'm going to sit in each municipality once they decide that they want to do it, and I'm going to say, what are your questions? How can we contour it? Because let's be candid, what works in Longport may or may not work in Cape May, and what works in Sea Isle City may or may not work in Pleasantville. So the idea is to contour this so that they're getting out what, it's now a cart kind of deal. They're going to do some things, they're going to do other things, they're going to, some of this, no, we think Code Red's, I'm speaking hypothetically. But the idea is to make it so that it fits into your community.
Okay, and how many of the 39 member communities are in Atlantic County? So we have 23 in Atlantic.
10, it's on the sheet, 10.
So we have 10, okay.
Mostly the coastal communities have most of the flooding. On the other, I'm just speaking candidly, on the other side of the county, they don't have as many flooding issues. So the county.
On the river, I think, different, but.
Well, I'm staying corrected. I don't know which year, but there was a terrible flood out by the Mays Landing someplace and it knocked the bridge out for a year or something, in the late 90s or something. So I'm just saying there's a greater incidence of flooding on the Barrier Island than there is on the other side of the county.
So,
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
that's just a question. So Tom, it looks like you guys, your group meets once a month since 2013, correct?
That's correct.
So hundreds of meetings have taken place,
More than I care to count.
okay?
I think you can tell by the color of my hair how many meetings we've had.
Yes. And the towns that you're trying to reach are all members of this organization that
Yes,
come to these meetings.
yes.
So just trying to figure out what you're asking of us.
What I'm hoping, it's been my
The word should
experience.
get out through this group.
We have these meetings, but I'm speaking candidly here. It never hurts to have the support of your county government. I've never found that and I've been involved in politics longer than I care to admit. It has never hurt me to have the county government discuss these things with the municipalities, because sometimes they get better guidance than I can afford. Is that a diplomatic way of saying that?
Sure. So this program is free to the municipality,
Yes,
free
sir.
to the county.
Yes, sir.
And it's something that Atlantic County is going to look into pursuing, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Some things-
Do you need a resolution from us that we support?
Whatever you feel comfortable with, but I guess, let me just say this, and I'm saying this with all the respect in the world. I've worked in county government, I've been involved in politics my whole life. There's priorities. Every day when you work in a municipality, you walk in on Monday morning and there's 200 messages sitting on this person needs a pothole done, this thing has to be done with parking, and this thing has to be done. We just work on flooding and we're trying to make it easier, but sometimes our message gets lost in the weeds because today nobody's thinking about flooding unless you're in California. But the people here aren't thinking about it. The idea is to try to just say to them, we're here, let us be a resource. And sometimes that message doesn't get through.
And do you ever go present to like the Atlantic County Mayor Association, Atlantic County Association of Township Officials?
Do you know what?
Atlantic County League of
Right before the
Municipalities?
pandemic, we were working on something like that. And I think that, and I might have been speaking with Jerry or I might have been speaking with Frank about that. And I think when the pandemic hit, everything got knocked in a hat. So I'd be happy to speak to anybody who would not be afraid of me putting them to sleep after they listen to me long enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, any one of those three entities would have a number of these towns there.
Happy to do it.
Yeah.
So Madam Chair, if I may, with all due respect, Tom, I appreciate the time and the information, but if it comes down to, as Frank indicated, is it a resolution? I mean, you're singing to the choir, kind of, sort of, right? We get the message. I live in Lansing, so you know I get the message, right? So is it your desire to have some meeting, the board pass a resolution in support of it? Jerry said the county is already looking at supporting it. I mean, I don't want to just sit here and spin your wheels neither. If that's what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do.
That would be wonderful. And I'm glad you mentioned that because there's one thing I feel very strongly about. We're trying to have visuals, and there's a reason why we have visuals. Last year, we made a presentation in Atlantic City, and I was born in Atlantic City Hospital. I'm 1952 model, mostly original parts. And I can tell you that I had no idea that there are 40 different spoken languages in the Atlantic City school system. I had no idea. So the more we're visual, people don't necessarily have to see the words, but if they see the maps, if they see things that make sense, things that they can identify with, that is vitally important. That's why John worked so hard to make as many visuals as possible, verbals as possible, because there's so many different languages. And thank you for mentioning that.
So, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm just saying to cut to the chase. Is it there's desire to do a resolution saying we're in support of, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Certainly.
Okay.
So at some point, if it's not today, Madam Chair, I don't want to overstep my boundaries. If it's not today, maybe the next meeting we come back with a resolution in support of it.
And we could circulate that amongst our municipalities as well.
And there's one thing I'd like to mention. We have several other programs that can help save taxpayers countless dollars. And I have yet to meet an elected official that doesn't want to save the taxpayer money. I'm hopeful that in the future you would extend an invitation so that I can come back and have a dialogue with you, because there are programs out there that not everyone is aware of, and Atlantic County could benefit from it and the taxpayers could benefit, and it would put money back in taxpayers' pockets. And every time you put money in a taxpayer's pocket, that's a tax cut. And I would like to think that most elected officials kind of enjoy that. So if I haven't overstepped my welcome this time, I hope I can receive an invitation to come back and speak to you about that. It's called the Community Rating System.
Madam Chair, I don't want to overstep this welcome. Next time we come back, maybe go to committee.
That's what I
Pick
was
up,
gonna
right, go to
suggest,
committee,
yeah.
right?
We have
Come up with all the
committees.
information,
kind of makes it come back to us like, sort of with a report and that sort of thing, so that's very easy for us to do.
At your convenience.
Yeah.
Be happy to make myself
Yeah,
available.
just send me what that is, and then I'll make
Yes,
sure
sir.
it gets to the right committee, and we'll get it moving for you.
Happy to do it.
Okay.
I'll send it to Tara, is that okay?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Are there any other questions that I can answer?
Tom, quick while you're here.
Yeah.
I think
I'm a big
Commissioner
believer in
Risley has
that,
question.
big believer in that. I just want to make sure that I don't, the first thing we do in our meetings, because we have new people coming to our meetings, we always say, do you have questions? I'm not a mind reader. And the advantage of our organization is we have 13 years worth of experience, and it's not unusual for someone to come to our meeting and say, I'm having a problem with X, and somebody said, X, we figured X out 3 years ago, and the first person looks at it, at the second person like we're crazy. So the idea is to make sure I don't want to leave unless I've answered everybody's question.
Commissioner Risley.
I'd just like to say, first of all, thank you for coming and making the presentation. And also thank you for sending us the information. We have that presentation on our laptops and we can discuss it further. But again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just one question. Tom, is this up and running? Is there any municipalities that are currently
In
inputting
Atlantic,
information?
in Atlantic County, we're speaking with Egg Harbor Township, Longport, Atlantic City, and Margate. And I'm just being candid here. With the pandemic and everything in the aftermath and everything, we were ready to launch this thing 4 years ago. We got money from FEMA, we've spent years developing it, and now the time is, and if you just give me 60 more seconds, everybody is familiar with the wildfires out in Maui and those poor people that suffered everything that happened. I don't know if you know it, but they were sent down the wrong road. They went in an evacuation route that was for flooding, not for a fire. And I'm old enough, and I'm going to dime you out, Frank's old enough, to know that in 1963 there was a wildfire on Tilton Road. And it went across Tilton Road, if you can believe that. And I think it was August 1963. If they had had our web app, those poor people in Maui, they would have known they're going in the wrong direction. So that's what I want to bring to Atlantic County and all of the members of the Coastal Coalition.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Any other questions for the commissioners? Okay, thank you, really, truly thank you for being here. And,
Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us into our ordinances with ordinance number 1.
Ordinance amending County Code Chapter 97 entitled Parks concerning John F. Gaffney Green Tree Golf Course, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. It's a first reading, so we'll go with any commissioner's comments.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just to highlight, we did discuss this in our budget subcommittee. It's raising the price, I believe it was $1 or $2 max. And we did something similar last year. This is all in the name of basically keeping our golf course solvent. And we did note that we are still very low. We're still very low in cost, and in some cases we're cheaper for 18 holes than other places are for 9. So we were in support of the amendments as presented.
Thank you, Lisa. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Brings us into our grant, resolution 36, please.
Amending Resolution Number 217 adopted on May 2nd, 2023, a grant from the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for the Atlantic Cape May counties distracted driving programs, and that increased $29,417.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Ballas. Any commissioner comments? Hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 37.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the Workforce First New Jersey TANF Innovation and Initiative Program, amount not to exceed $1,012,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 38, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the State of New Jersey Office of Emergency Telecommunications for the Public Safety Answering Point Upgrades and Consolidation Program, amount not to exceed $66,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rufino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. In our professional service agreements with Resolution 39.
Professional services agreement with various vendors for alcohol and drug prevention, education, and treatment services, amount not to exceed $616,468.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Risley. Any commissioner comments? I just want to say one thing. There was a press article today talking about some of the numbers throughout, our area, with drug problems and, other types of situations. These are immensely important to us to have and make sure that our constituents are aware of them. Okay, any other commissioner comments? Seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 40.
Professional services agreement with Premier Orthopedic Associates for the provision of spinal treatment services to inmates at the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $15,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 41.
Amending Resolution Number 250, adopted on May 16, 2023, a professional services agreement with French and Perillo Associates, PA, for engineering design services associated with the replacement of Bungalow Park Bridge, EHC 08, Egg Harbor Green Bank Road, County Route 563, over Indian Cabin Creek in Egg Harbor City, net increase $56,305.84.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes, a little confused on the language, saying Bungalow Park Bridge, which I believe is in Atlantic City, but this is saying Egg Harbor City.
Yeah, that's where the Bungalow Park, that's the bridge out there by the past Commissioner Formica. There was a bridge out there called Bungalow Park Bridge. It's in Egg Harbor City, and it's right next to their lake out there. So, I mean, and I think,
Bungalow Park Bridge in Atlantic City.
yeah.
Okay. Just Bungalow Park? Okay. All right.
Any other
No
commissioner?
bridge.
Any other commissioner comments? Any comments from the public?
You gotta use this right.
There used to be a club out there called Bungalow Park Tavern, right by the Bungalow Park Bridge, just as you got on the other side of the lake. That's how it got its name.
And when was that?
We're not old.
Last 20 years. Frank may not have been there.
Tell us. Don't ask him.
Any other comments from the public? We'll have a roll call.
Pallas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Our competitive contracts start with Resolution 42, please.
Competitive contract with Abel's Cleaning Agency, Limited Liability Company for the provision of cleaning services for the Atlantic County Libraries and the Cronin Dental Center, amount not to exceed $132,450.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Parker. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. We start with Resolution 43 of change orders.
Change order number 1, a contract with Kisby Lee's Mechanical, Limited Liability Company, trading as Kisby Shore Corporation for the proposed HVAC upgrades for the IT UPS room at Anthony Canale Fire Training Center to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 44, please.
Change order number 1, a contract with South State Incorporated for the Green Bank Bridge mechanical and electrical repairs in the Township of Mullica to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 45.
Change order number 1, a contract with South State Incorporated for the 2021 State Aid Highway Improvement Program on various county roads, net decrease, $149,150.82.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carried. Resolution 46.
Change order number 1, a contract with Arawak Paving Company for the resurfacing of Tilton Road, County Route 563, Section 7 in the townships of Hamilton and Galloway to extend the term date net increase $38,918.57.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to leases with Resolution 47.
Amending Resolution Number 517 adopted on September 20th, 2022, a consent to assignment agreement with South Jersey Transportation Authority and Jamal's Atlantic City Limited Liability Company concerning the county's lease for a portion of the property located at the New York Avenue parking garage, with payment being made to the management company Joyce Parking Limited Liability Company to extend the term date, amount not to exceed $5,890.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner?
To you, to Jerry, I thought South Jersey Transportation Authority sold this property.
They did, that's Jamal's, yes, the new owner is called Jamal, so, yeah.
Any other commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to Resolution 48, please.
Lease termination agreement with Egg Harbor Leasing Limited Liability Company concerning the development and operation of a child advocacy center located at 6821 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, amount not to exceed $62,385.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Corsi. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 49, please.
Intergovernmental agreement to transfer the titles and possession of 2 vehicles that are no longer in use to the Atlantic County Utilities Authority.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to Resolution 50.
Cooperative bid contract with McCluskey Mechanical to provide plumbing services for water conservation project upgrades at the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $726,684.08.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Risley. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, through you to Jerry. Jerry, can somebody explain this?
Yeah.
What's our savings going to be over a 7-year
Okay.
period?
Well, Chris is on, I'll explain what the system looks like. Chris, you there? No.
Yeah, so basically we're installing in all the toilets, urinals, and even the sinks. So we're gonna restrict the flow to help conserve the water. All right. It's also gonna allow us to also be able to limit the number of times those toilets can be flushed. So it's a pretty intense project, because it's a lot of plumbing involved in it. But the savings rate that they estimated at comes in about $100,000 per year.
So we're spending 700, almost 800,000 to save 700,000.
No, it's $100,000. Yeah, it's $100,000 savings per year.
Over a 7-year period.
Yes.
The one thing they can't do is they
Well,
can't
that's
flush.
the payback.
Is this so they don't flood the cells out? Is that what you're?
Well, they
what
can't
the
flush,
main goal
but
is?
also, doesn't it prevent, Chris, it prevents helping, or it helps to prevent flushing the sheets and the pillowcases or anything else that can be ripped up and flushed, correct?
Right, contraband, anything. So, yeah, because that's another problem we're having at the jail. So they tear up the sheets, they flush it down the toilet, and it clogs up the system. So sometimes we're out there in the middle of the night, unclogging septic, or we have septic backup. So this is gonna help prevent that.
So this is gonna prevent them from being able to flush a sheet or
Yeah,
a
because
shirt
we're
or
gonna
anything?
limit, because it's gonna actually limit the amount of flushes they're gonna, and limit the water as well. So we're gonna reduce that water. So they just can't just keep sitting there, just keep constantly flushing the toilet time after time and time again. Because that's what's happening now. So we're trying to restrict that as much as we can. Because it's just causing a lot of problems. I mean, we're finding all kinds of stuff in the septic and sewer it's 24 hours around the clock.
Okay, and this is something that no plumber in Atlantic County can handle, correct?
Well, we're using it through the co-op. So this was part of the ESIP project that we went through with the lighting, and this was part of it. The water conservation was part of that ESIP that we had done with like the LED lighting and upgrades with the HVAC and all that. So this was part of that process. And part of that process is using this co-op.
So we don't know if it's cheaper to use a plumber from Atlantic County. We're just using the
Well,
co-op.
the
because
co-op,
it's
we
easier.
did get pricing. I mean, we did get other pricing, and these were the cheapest ones.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see any other pricing in any of our people.
Yeah, we received that. It was an internal thing that we received because it wasn't a public bid. It was just something that we reviewed internally.
Okay.
Any other commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Now brings us to Resolution 51, please.
Intergovernmental agreement with the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission, Office of Education to provide educational services at Harbor Fields Detention Center, amount not to exceed $2,102,556.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 52.
Amending resolution number 227 adopted on May 3rd, 2022, an agreement to accept 9 congestion mitigation and air quality fiscal year 17 Flex 5310 grant funded vehicles from the New Jersey Transit Corporation.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 53.
Acceptance of deeds easements from various grantors in accordance with Atlantic County planning standards.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes. Resolution 54.
Amending Resolution Number 719 adopted on December 19, 2023, a contract with South State Incorporated for emergency span lock repairs to Dorset Avenue Bridge in the city of Ventnor. Net increase $140,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair. Yeah, just want to make one comment. Yeah, on December 19th, it's right in this resolution, we passed a resolution to extend the term date of this contract with no additional cost. Now, a little over a month later, the contract is just about double. We didn't know that when there was no information. There was going to be it was going to double in a month.
Well, what happens is they went back, they go in and inspect the bridge. I mean, they took the parts out, but they had to go back and inspect the bridge because there were some issues. So I think Doug is on. Doug can explain the real technical issue that happened once they removed the actuator. Doug, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was the initial contract was for them to basically remove the linear actuator, which is a motor and a winding gear, which operates span lock, which is a bunch of different it's mechanisms, it's bearings, it's all sorts of mechanical items that lock the bridge. So they went, after they took out the actuator, had it refurbished, they did go into the bridge and they checked the operation of the mechanism that's on the bridge, and it was not moving very well, which is likely what caused the failure of the actuator. So if we just put the actuator back in, it would have just failed again in short order. So we basically had to do this change order so that they could basically take apart the mechanism on the bridge, machine parts that were, rusted up, replace bearings, things like that. So now they will be putting all that back into the bridge and installing the actuator, and we will be back up and running.
Okay, so this is not completed yet then?
No, they started the work, but they still have to now go and assemble it all back together.
Okay.
Any other commissioners' comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Malice?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes. Resolution 55, please.
Competitive contract with DB Grant Associates Incorporated for the provision of a one-stop operator and career services, amount not to exceed $1,800,000.
Move.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Coursey. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to appointments with Resolution 56.
Reappointment of John Hines Jr. to the Solid Waste Advisory Council for a term to expire on January 1st, 2027.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Coursey, seconded by Commissioner Risley. Any commissioner comments? I would just like to thank Mr. Hines for continuing his time and effort and commitment to this council. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey? Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. We have a commissioner sponsored with Resolution 57.
Resolution amending the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners public meeting scheduled to change the date of the second meeting in March.
Second.
It's moved by Commissioner Coursey, seconded by Commissioner Parker. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, just want to, the reason why we asked for this is Bonnie's here. I'll steal her thunder and make this quicker. So Bonnie was giving, we were given a number of dates to present the budget, introduce it, and then adopt. And in order not to have to do a second temporary budget, Bonnie, and give us enough time to work on the budget. We selected the dates, March 5th, so it would be introduced, and then March 26th was the other date that we were allowed to go ahead and adopt. So that's the reason why the 19th would not have given Bonnie enough time to do the work that was required.
Thank you, Jerry, for the explanation. Any other commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Forsy?
Yes.
Bays?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. That concludes our written portion of the agenda. Written communications and petitions we have received. If anybody has received any commissioner comments, anything you may have received. Okay. Special reports of committees.
I do real quick.
Commissioner Burns.
Hit the ground running. Thank you to our county administrator, Jerry Del Rosso, for setting up, along with Michelle Knudsen, a tour of many of the human services departments today. And wow, what a great job our county employees do all across the board in human services. Carla Guy, thank you to her. She's walked me along, learning my committees, the Women's Service Advisory Board, and then Human Services, and she's been great. Excuse me, have not met with the Senior Citizen Board yet, but that's in a couple of weeks. So everything's been great, thank you.
Yeah, you're pretty busy. It's pretty eye-opening too, isn't it? When you
It's
go
been
around, you see
wonderful.
the amount of services we have. And
Thank you.
any other reports? Okay,
Madam Chair, I do.
okay.
The Atlantic County Office of Cultural and Heritage Affairs distributed arts and history grants totaling $220,900. I just want to give kudos to that group of people who are coming together and working hard, and to Kim Brown, who does this every year. So great job on that. For the Atlantic County Libraries, the Best of the Press 2023, yet again, we won all three with a different library this time. So it's a different three. So Galloway Township won the gold, Ventnor won, library won the silver, and Mays Landing Library won the bronze. Also for the Atlantic County Library Foundation, we adopted our new bylaws as on February 1st. I'd also, no, I'm not going to mention, that's not the word for me, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other thing else for our commissioners? Okay, any unfinished business? Seeing, hearing none, any new business?
Madam Chair, new business. I sent over to our attorney today a resolution for consideration at our next meeting. We had a request from Hamilton Township School Board member Harry Rogers to basically just have a resolution of support in their effort as a board to seek state and federal funding to rehabilitate the Duberson School. If people know the Duberson School, it's a historic property. I attended school there, so did my grandfather. But it is in serious disrepair, and the amount of money needed to get it to kind of a minimal viable state for a developer to then be able to come in and use it is prohibitive. So they're seeking our support in their attempt to go find funding. It's not a commitment of funding or time or resources from us. It's just saying, yes, we support you going to do this. So that resolution should be before you now.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, if I just may add one small piece, I did call, I got a phone call from Harry, spoke to him yesterday and today. The cost of demolishing the building is also, right, so they're really stuck in between a rock and a hard place. They demolish it, it's gonna cost a bunch of money just to put the parking lot there. So it's like, what do you do with the building? So they just like our support to try and go out and figure it out. They're not asking, like she said, they're not asking, Commissioner Gatto said, they're not asking us to fund it, or they're just, I know that there are some folks that they're going to be speaking to for funding that would love to have they don't want to get involved unless they have our support.
Right.
So they don't want to take on a project to say, go out and find funding for this project, just to turn around and come to the commissioners and we say, no, we're not in favor of it. So they're, being proactive, so
Yes, thank you.
that's what I know.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other new business? Hearing none. That brings us to public comments. Anyone attending in person that would like to speak now at public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town you reside. If you're attending virtually and would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. I will call upon your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Do we have anybody that would like from the public?
So, Madam Chair, I'm not speaking. If there's nobody from the public, following up with the Budget Subcommittee, Commissioner Gatto had asked at the Budget Subcommittee that we follow up on the resolution you just voted on, $1.8 million to create a one-stop operator. That impacts 12 employees because we're privatizing. It's a requirement under the Workforce Investment Act to create a one-stop operator outside of what would be in this case the county. So there are 12 people that are impacted by that decision. You saw the resolution awarding the $1.8 million to DV grants. The 12 people have met with our Human Service Director. She has actually talked to every one of them, and they all have a job to go to.
Good.
There's only one of the individuals who said that they don't want to take the position for the same title that they're in. They would look for something else. We'll look for something else for them. But all 12 will have something to go to if they elect to do that. So I just wanted to.
Thanks for that follow-up, Jerry. It was important to the budget subcommittee that displaced employees would have an opportunity either with the county or with the vendor coming in. And I appreciate that follow-up because that was an important question for us.
So Madam Chair, if I may, through you, Chair, so I'll piggyback off of what Commissioner Gallo said. So are those 12, strike that, the 11 employees are going to stay with the county? Because you said they have places to go. So are they staying with the county?
Yes. I mean, as of right now, they've said yes. Two are considering actually retiring. They're old enough and they have enough years to retire. They're not sure if they want to stay. But yes, they would be able to stay, and yes, we have positions with the county, correct.
But and the reason I asked that question, and I don't want to belay the point, is that because if they stay with the county, you stay in the pension system. They go with an outside company, they can lose whatever they have, they don't have the time. So it's good to see that they're going to be staying with the county, at least for now. They chose to do so. So that's a good thing.
Thank you. Okay, for those, I'm going into the good of the order. I just want to make a statement for those who may not have seen the press release. The Atlantic County Animal Shelter invites you to fall in love this Valentine's Day by adopting an animal. The shelter is waiving all adoption fees for dogs available for immediate adoption, which began last week and is running through Friday, February 16th. Also, there were a few members of us attended the MBCA event where Atlantic City Mayor Small presented his plans for 2024. The event was well attended and was encouraging to hear the plans for citywide Wi-Fi. I'm sure Commissioner Corsi, for everything he was talking about, you're going to be very busy.
Don't forget the dog park. The dog park is coming. Two dog parks. And more police officers. And that's big news.
And guess what? And more firefighters.
And that's big news.
We got 10 in the academy now, we get ready for another 8.
Excellent.
So we're doing good.
Excellent.
Our ratables are great. We got tax degrees for the 4th, 5th year in a row. We have to do well.
We had a few
So Atlantic
songs
City did not fall. So let the record reflect. Atlantic City did not fall off the map when Small took over.
Madam Chair, there is one more. I want to introduce Steve O'Connor. You guys all voted on. I'm sorry, I should have done that when I was standing. But Mr. Steve O'Connor is here, and if you'd like, maybe Steve can give you a little bit of background because I'm not sure. I think you got a bio, but Just quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just be real quick. I just want to thank everyone for approving my contract so I had the opportunity to continue working with Atlantic County. For many, many years I worked for Cape May County, and throughout the course of my time, it's always been a pleasure that Cape May County and Atlantic County have always collaborated so well on different initiatives, from the Economic Development District to the college to many, many things. And I just appreciate again the opportunity to continue and be working with Jerry. As a matter of fact, I go back, my first projects I started to work was actually with Dick Squires and Helen Walsh. So I've had a relationship with Cape May County or with Atlantic County for my entire career, and I look forward to continuing with it.
There's been a lot of history in this room.
Any questions? Me and John go way back.
Yes, we do. Madam Clerk, I had the pleasure of working with Steve 2012, some of the darkest days of the South Jersey Economic Development District, when we couldn't even pay the man, couldn't even pay you on time. We were weeks behind to pay you at the time. And,
But you made sure I got paid at the end.
I did. And Steve brings with him really an encyclopedia of knowledge and experience. So we're lucky to have him, and welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thanks everyone again.
Chair.
Thank you for being here.
I want to say thank you, Steve, for calling me back as quickly as you did and entertaining my questions. I know I can be a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes when it comes to those things, so I appreciate it.
That's fun.
Steve, we spoke a little bit, and there are 3 things that were listed by our county executive that we're going to be on board to help with. Cost-effective health benefits plan options, the regional jail, and management of opioid settlement funds were 3 of the main things that were cited by our county executive that you're going to be helping us with. I just want you to know that I think everyone up here is very interested in what work you're going to be taking on, and if there's, whatever you're going to do, we'd love to know and stay informed about that. And you and I talked about jail in particular. And I'll take this moment to say, I'm very concerned about this transition. Whether we take it or we don't take it, whether we enter into this regionalized jail or not, I'm not speaking on that. I'm just saying I'm very concerned and very interested in how that takes place. And I know that the officers inside of the jail are very concerned as well. So if there's anything that we can do to kind of bring a little peace to their minds throughout this process, I'd like to be able to do that, because if the phone doesn't stop ringing,
Okay. Like I say, I'm just getting this started on this, obviously. But as the information gets gathered, I'm sure that Jerry's going to keep everyone totally on the loop on everything that's going on. I mean, I would suspect that you guys are going to drive the decision on all this. Am I right, Jerry?
Well, we have to come back here. Once a decision is made as to whether we're going to move forward or not. I mean, that's really it. Again, there's going to be the data, whatever the as you all know, we have a series of questions we had to answer. They're being submitted. The courts have been asked, fortunate or unfortunately, the courts got asked by all 6 counties that have been asked. They've been working on that data, and they'll submit that data to the organization that there's a planning organization that's already been selected, and they're already doing some of the data for Camden County. So once all that data is put together, we'll be back to the board, but actually probably be the jail subcommittee, and explain what the data shows and what the costs are going to be. You know the legislation is passed and it's got signed by the governor, so that regional facility is out there, and it will have the ability to tax. So that was one of the first steps.
Yeah, and Mr. Parker, I actually brought up that concern in the budget subcommittee as well, because I've been hearing that too from inside. So I asked the warden to keep us apprised of attrition rates, so that if we start to see a major spike and concern there, we know we need to take some kind of an action. So that's how we're going to monitor it. But we did raise that concern too.
Excellent.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, if you talk to the ward, Mike Kelly, Mike will tell you, we all agreed prior to bringing it here and prior to discussing it publicly, we went to the union, sat down with the union membership and told them that we were considering going into the study. Now, at least 3 of you up on that day is right now. 3 of you have said everybody knew about it. And that's true, because Camden County was not quiet about it. They were telling everybody, about the legislation. They were telling, at the Wards Association, they were telling everybody what they were doing. And, the officers were all being told, and you have to know this. In Camden County, they brought in every single officer and told every single officer that they were all going to be hired. Without a doubt, everyone would have a job once this occurred. And what they've been telling each county is the same identical thing. They can't hire people. When we had 30 and 40 vacancies, they had 120. I mean, I've been speaking to the administrator and their deputy administrator there. So they have been having difficult time hiring. So they know that every position that would go into the new facility would have somebody from one of the counties filling those slots. They have not been able to hire. We've had our own difficulty hiring, although I can tell you Mike and his staff have done a really good job there. We got permission from the state to do these job fairs, and so they've been doing job fairs. Independent of any civil service requirements, which, the law changed on civil service for the jail. So we think we did everything we could to allow our staff to explain that to the union. And then when we actually did make this public, it dawned on them what Mike was saying to them. I think that's what happened. It woke them up. So
they're awake.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Mike talks to them, on a regular basis. So.
Jerry, you said the legislation passed and was signed.
And was signed, yes.
You know when?
Month of the, no, let's do that.
It was in December, right?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, before the end of the year.
During the lame dunk session.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
On this topic, it is my opinion, and strictly my opinion, that regardless of whether we go into this or not, if we do, it's going to take time. It's going to take years to happen. It's not going to happen in 5 minutes. I think we have a problem now. I think we need an addition to our current jail, and we need to get help on addition to Harbor Fields. We can't continue to send these kids to Bergen County, God knows where, all over the state, and house them there. We need an addition to Harbor Fields. And whether we need state aid to do it or whatever it takes, it needs to be addressed.
So, I don't want to use that one yet. So just so you know, we met with the Juvenile Justice Commission, and we gave them like 3 or 4 options. One, we closed Harbor Fields, and we do an agreement with Bergen and Essex, and we send all our kids there. Create our own transportation system and move them back and forth. That was number 1. Number 2, we told them, Mike Fedorko and I were looking at modulars. We looked at the facility out there, and we said we can put modulars in. They don't believe we can create what we need to create out there. They don't think that we would have enough space for dining, sports. We think we could do that. They told us they didn't want to do that. We also said that we believe that we could use the county jail. We have, as you all know, with bail reform, you don't have those prisoners in there anymore, or inmates with low level crimes. Most of them are very serious. So everybody is in the main jail. The medium security facility is what they call community housing. So it's a big wide open room, and actually what we call community policing is they have like one officer would walk around among the inmates. You can't do that anymore because they're extremely dangerous, people that are in the jail now. So we thought we could take one of the floors, and we said to the Juvenile Justice Commission, what we'll do is we'll look at the kids that we think we could house in community housing, or we would put cells in 1 or 2 of the floors and obviously we would have to then pay for, you know, the staff to go ahead and be the security team out of that facility. And as you know, we're paying the JJC to do that. They didn't like that idea either. So in that meeting, what they asked us to do was to look at moving more of these kids out onto the street. So obviously, my first thing was, we've already met with the prosecutor, and he actually he called the meeting and called me and asked me would we meet, and we did. We met with the jail, and we talked a little bit about not only the adults and what he's going to do with the adults, but also about the youth. And so they asked me would I would at least convene a meeting to have that discussion. So I've spoken to the prosecutor. He's okay with that. Spoken to the trial court administrator. They're willing to meet with us, and I think Judge Lee is going to be part of the meeting, and the JJC is going to meet. And they're going to run by numbers by the prosecutor and the courts to determine how many of the kids we presently have incarcerated could be put on the street in a diversion program. And then they're going to talk about what kind of diversion programs we can create locally in order to better serve the community. So that's where we are. So
how about I'm sorry. How about an addition to the building? How about an addition to Harbor Fields?
Okay, I'm only telling you what this.
That would make the most sense, in my opinion.
Right.
That's what
That's what we ran that by them.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So we already have several
Right.
juveniles that are in the HEDS program now that are out on the street.
We have, oh, absolutely. But you know,
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like
we
we
don't
can't
know
put
that.
kids on heads, but some of the kids, let me just be clear on that, the kids that are incarcerated today or that are in a facility,
Need to be there.
I'm just telling you, the chief of detectives is saying, he does not recommend those kids being out on the street. And I've seen you see the crimes, we get the population sheet, so you see what they've done. I'm just saying, they're not, and so I understand the JTC's concept. Their concept is why spend all that money? Because probably by the time you do get somebody on board, do the design, a lot of these kids are going to get adjudicated and wind up at the state. So you'd be spending whatever, $3, $4, $5 million.
There'll be more coming
Yeah.
past us.
Well, I don't.
It's not going to go away.
I don't think so, but
Jerry, do you know if there's anybody on that Juvenile Justice Commission that's actually from this area? Or they're all
well, the Juvenile
Georgia.
Justice Committee.
that's making this decision for you?
No,
That you're
there's
asking?
nobody from this area.
There's nobody from this area?
No.
So they don't care about this area? They want this to turn into like Jersey City,
Sure.
Well,
you know, where, why put them in jail, put them back on the street?
well, let me say this, at the meeting, if we really do get the prosecutor, well, we are gonna get the prosecutor because he's agreed to do that, and we're gonna have Judge Lee, we're gonna go back into those discussions again about what are all the alternatives that we put on the table before.
Well, you know what their answer is gonna be? The reason why we asked the judge to commit them to Harbor Fields is because they're too dangerous to be on the
Right.
street.
Right.
Prosecutor's not
That's what
gonna
we
say, oh yeah, put them out on the street.
No,
There's no way.
That's what we said, but I'm only telling you. But we'll get back, at least let me say this day, maybe with the prosecutor and the judge in the room, and they start talking about some of these other alternatives that we think are more viable, maybe they'll think twice.
There's gotta be a way to be able to put an addition on.
Yes.
And be able to have the programs that they need to have out there.
Yes.
There's space.
We think so.
There's plenty of space there.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
I think, obviously, our jail committee's going to be pretty busy on all of this, so I think, Commissioner Corsi, do you chair the jail committee?
No, I don't.
You do? Okay.
Can't you tell you're so passionate about it?
Well, you are too.
Not as fast as John.
I figured we were taking it, I didn't know y'all was gonna get that deep
You're
into it
public
today,
health.
but.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Grizzly salted, I know. It's always grizzly.
I'm just following logic, that's all.
Sometimes.
I know.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Madam Chair, if I may, just so
Ever since
I don't want to,
Parking
I
lot was that,
don't want to hold the meeting. But, I know, Jerry, I want to say thank you for responding to the Lake Creek Bridge.
Oh.
And my question is, I know we have the answer now, but is there any plan moving forward to have better communication with the municipalities? Are we planning to speak to Egg Harbor Township or speak to municipalities to update them on this answer so that they're not still out there thinking that there's a lack of communication between the bodies?
Our roads and bridges guy.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. There was a discussion on that. You guys all received the email. I spoke with administration today. Jerry is making sure that they send it to all the officials in Egg Harbor Township again to see the trail, so everybody knows the process that occurred. Because some of those, obviously, in Egg Harbor Township didn't receive any of that information or were not aware of it. Going back to 2022 is when the pre-construction meeting is. So this project's been ongoing for a while. So county administration is going to send the correspondence to them. We had a discussion about if there's an issue we have projects in the future for longevity, but Jerry's like that takes a while for it to come to fruition. But Jerry indicated we do that. We do notify everybody, and we have a paper trail on how they do that. So process-wise, there was no failure on the county in any way on delivering the messages. There just happened to be new police chief, new administrator, new over the course of time, and I don't know how many people were checking emails. And as you've seen earlier, I asked our administration to give us who exactly are the people in the bulk email list that were receiving emails going out, just so we're all clear. It's clerical in some of those respects, I imagine, but I'll let Egg Harbor Township. I spoke with the Mayor Frommer out there about it too, as well as Mr. Pauls has had a discussion. They received all that information and thanked the county for what they did with the project to this date.
Jerry, I would just suggest, and I believe Doug is still on. I know we checked all the boxes and did what we were supposed to do, but going forward, we should basically have a rule of thumb that, even if we had the pre-construction meeting and it was a year prior to the construction actually happening, or 6 months, or 3 months, within 30 days of it happening, there should be another pre-construction meeting just to get all the players in the room if they're willing to come. The police department's traffic safety unit, they go over that final plan because people leave all the time. You know what I mean? So engineers change, administrators change, police chiefs change, the head of their traffic unit changes, and it just so happened this was the perfect storm that, the chief left, the administrator left, and the guy who ran the traffic safety unit who went to that pre-construction meeting a year earlier, he left too.
But the mayor didn't leave, and the mayor's office got the material.
I understand it, I know, but think about where, where were you this time last year? I don't know, and what was I doing? I don't know. But like I said, maybe 30 days in advance of a actual construction breaking ground, maybe there should be just another get together. Everyone's working anyway, and just do it again.
So Doug, just why don't you talk about on pre-construction meetings? How soon after generally a pre-construction meeting does construction start generally?
That depends on the project. Road projects, it's usually pretty quick. The bridge projects, actually, this one in particular, in-water work restrictions were a big delay in why we couldn't start until after July 1st, even though we had the pre-construction meeting in December. Also, the bridge projects, a lot of materials have to be ordered ahead of time, like the steel sheet pile, the pipe piles for the foundations, for the culverts that were done on Bevis Mill Road. They were precast, so they had to be designed and by the precast manufacturer and manufactured. So that's why a project like this, there's a big delay in from when you have the pre-construction meeting and when you actually get out there and start the work.
Okay, but like I said, would it be too much to ask to have maybe a detour meeting prior to the detour happening? At least 30 days in advance of the detour. I mean, it wouldn't be as cumbersome of bringing everybody in that you need to bring in for a pre-construction meeting, but what's going to impact the town, for something like that, especially where you're going to have a extended closure, like a year. you know, if we could do that, that would be very helpful, I think.
If you could do that for us, Doug, we'd certainly be appreciative. There's been a lot of questions, and I'm the first one to admit that I'm not an engineer. It's not my area of expertise, so I don't know a lot of these things about engineering. But if you could do what Frank was saying, you know, recommending to do, we'd certainly appreciate it.
Or at least some kind of acknowledgement with the town before you get started on something. We
Right.
hear this all the time from municipalities.
Oh, of
I mean,
course.
we definitely could be better.
But you know what, the county did do it, you know, Linda
Yeah.
Gilmore sent the alerts out, and then it got changed, you know, that it was gonna be 2 weeks, it was gonna be extended by 2 weeks, because, the other bridge wasn't finished yet. But, I think a lot of people saw, you know, and heard on the radio that it was gonna be closed, you know, that road was gonna be closed and up to a year. But, you know, I think the main concern is, you know, what the police department has is the people, the locals aren't following the detour route.
Right.
They're taking the
Right.
shortcut,
Right.
which is what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? And, you know, they're, instead of, I know you're not supposed to take traffic from a county road and put it on a municipal road unless the municipality agrees. Same thing with a state road.
Right.
You're not supposed to put it on a municipal road. But, you know, English Creek Road is so far away from that area where the detour is, it's better for it to be detoured at Schoolhouse and only have the detour go from Schoolhouse to Steelmanville, that loop around. But again, I think that's something that the traffic safety unit and the county engineer are working on getting that worked out. And, you know, a lot of the backup and a lot of the school buses, you know, would have to take an extra 2 miles or more to get around there. But then again, they don't want to go down Villa to Villa where they just replaced the bridge because it's such a winding, small roadway. That's where they're all going. And that's where they're backing it up in the neighborhood.
Right.
But it's the locals that are causing the problem. It's none of our fault, it just happened.
Right. And Linda will remind everybody, the commissioners spoke with the executive, they asked us to put something together. And Linda reminds me as well, is that if any work we're doing in Malena County, it doesn't matter where it is, if you live in Egg Harbor Township or working in Galloway, you can go on our webpage, you know that, and you'll get those notices.
Right.
So even if you were saying what's going to happen with that bridge, and you didn't know, if you went online, you'd probably see what's on our webpage, which is probably going to explain the project to you, independent of, you know, either the contractor or the county contacting you as an elected official in the town that's going to be impacted. So in the letter that we discussed, we'll add that in just so people understand that, you know, that there is a way to find information without necessarily talking to everybody all the time. So.
We also push that web information out onto social media
Yes.
platforms too, so
Yes.
you don't have to
That's
go
right.
get it, you can have it
Correct.
pushed to
Yeah,
you.
correct. Yeah, correct.
Right. And, you know, Summersville Landing Road, just 2 years ago, was closed for about 2 years for the replacement of the other bridge further down by English Creek Road.
Yes, correct.
So,
Right.
you know, and you know, the argument is, you know, the summer traffic that comes down to the shore from
Right.
Philly uses that road.
Right.
Well, they found their way around for 2 years before.
Exactly.
They're going to have to find their way around again for another year.
Right.
Because unless they got an amphibious vehicle, they're not getting past that bridge.
You're right. You're right. And you know that's the evacuation route. So the work is being done in order to make that route, as Tom Quirk would say, that's an evacuation route. That's the route we're going to send everybody. So that's why all the infrastructure is being improved. That's one of the key reasons, right?
Has to be.
Right.
Better than falling through.
Thank you. I'd also like to take a minute to thank our former chairman of the Commissioner Board for visiting us today. Always nice to see you, Mr. Formica.
Thank you. I didn't say anything because I don't have anything substantive to say.
Thank goodness.
My golf instructor.
Just a couple things go to the order real quick, not the ways of the meeting. But number one, Jer, I do want to publicly thank you and Public Works for their quick response on Pleasant Mills Road. We had a pretty huge pile of water sitting on the roadway during that snowstorm. It was basically becoming an ice rink and a pretty unsafe condition. And our team not only put additional signage, caution signage out there, but then eventually were able to clear the drains that were causing the problem. So thank you for quickly responding. And I know I said it to Greg, but I just want to publicly thank you guys for that quick response. Also, today marks a month since I lost my dad. When you mentioned it at the meeting right after, I really couldn't speak about it. So I do want to just say thank you to everybody who came to the services and honored him. It's definitely been difficult, but I just want to say I appreciate it very much. And also want to just take a minute. February 14th will mark 22 years since Dr. Jens Foreman passed away, who was the principal at Oakcrest High School for many years. I try to keep his legacy alive every year because he was a very special man and a very special person to our county. He was very impactful to generations of students, and he was just caring and kind and always remembered your name and just lived the way we should all live in terms of helping others and always extending a hand and taking a moment to recognize and support others. So I want to do that and just carry his legacy forward. It's 22 years, just remembering Dr. Dennis Foreman.
Just one other thing, Chair. Jerry?
Yeah.
The large sinkholes we had a few phone calls on at the middle of two county roads, Zion Road and Mill Road. That wasn't the county's responsibility. That was
It was the sewer system.
It was the sewer system from Northfield, correct? And that's all being taken care of? And
Yes.
Okay.
The city, I think, had the contractor, I think, out today. I think today was the first day that the contractor was out.
Okay.
Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.